I want you to explain your position because traditionally libertarians believe the government shouldn't be involved in making these kinds of personal decisions for individuals. So when should a woman have a right to have an abortion?
The thing is that there is a role for government in our lives, and the role is basically to prevent violence. And so when a baby is born, I'm a physician, and so I examine babies in the neonatal nursery often. Sometimes these babies are 1 and 2 pounds. They can fit in the palm of my hand, and everybody agrees that that baby that I examine has rights, that no one can injure that baby, and the government has a role to come even into the household. If a mother or a dad or a relative is somehow injuring a baby, that the baby has rights. So somehow we have to decide, when does a baby get rights? So a 1 pound baby has rights, but a 7 pound baby in the uterus still getting ready to be born, or a 9 pound baby would have no rights. It seems like an abrupt sort of diminution of rights, that all of a sudden you have rights and then a couple of minutes before you didn't have rights. These are very, very difficult, I think, discussions. And then that's the question of, when does life begin? And I don't think we all agree on that. I personally believe that life is special, that human life is special, and that there is a sanctity, and that we're more than just, clay and dirt.
What about rape? What about rape and incest?
Well, you and I have had this discussion before, that there will be extenuating circumstances, and I've supported legislation both with exceptions and without exceptions. Basically, my point of view has been that anything that puts forward and develops and says, you know what, there is something special about life and there's a role for government, I've supported. But that's been a variety of things, both with exceptions and without.
Social issues. Senator Rand Paul, quote, "I am 100% pro-life. I believe abortion is taking the life of an innocent human being," close quote. Senator, where I come from out in Northern California, when somebody says he's a libertarian, 98% of the time he's saying he's a libertarian about that. Right. He's pro-choice, keep the government out of the bedroom.
Right.
And so this is an unusual position, in my experience, for a libertarian to take. How do you square that one up?
What I would say is that there is a primary and fundamental role for government. And the primary and fundamental role for government is to stop aggression of one individual against another individual. So the question comes down to, when do you think someone's an individual? When do you think life begins? And then I think you get more to the heart of the matter, is the real debate is, when does life begin? And I think as you have that discussion, it becomes difficult, I think, to be flippant about it. For example, I'm an ophthalmologist, but I examine babies in the neonatal nursery that can fit in the palm of my hand, 1 pound babies that are alive. I look in their eyes to check against a disease that can cause blindness that can be treated now. But let's say a week before they were, inside the mother, but are they don't exist, they're not alive at that point. And so increasingly, later on in gestation, people are somewhat horrified. I mean, people are horrified by this Dr. Gosnell that was snipping the spinal cords of them. They're horrified by people, crushing the skull to get the baby out, a live baby, injecting things into them to kill them. So I think many people towards the end are like, well, gosh, yeah, it's not that much different than the nursery. How can I be that this is just a woman's body, and that there